We've all heard the phrase bundle of joy, but what about a bundle of giant? Imagine a baby so big they don't fit in a crib, so heavy they're literally breaking the scales in the delivery room. Today, we're counting down the 6 biggest babies ever born. Their stories aren't just about size, they're about shocking medical mysteries, incredible family bonds, and the journey of tiny giants who made medical history. You won't believe what some of them weigh, and the biggest of them all will leave you speechless. This is the truth behind the headlines, and it's a story you won't forget.
1. Gianna, the medical puzzle. On the day Gianna was born, her parents were expecting a healthy, beautiful baby. But they had no idea their lives were about to change forever. The delivery room fell silent when Gianna's weight was announced. An astonishing 14 pounds, 5 ounces. The nurses, doctors, and even the proud father couldn't believe it. She was instantly the biggest baby many of them had ever seen. But this record-breaking size was more than just a fun fact. It was a symptom of a much deeper, more serious medical puzzle. Gianna was born with a rare, undiagnosed condition, and her parents were suddenly thrust into a world that wasn't built for a baby her size. Their first challenge seemed almost comical. What do you do with a newborn baby who can't fit into newborn clothes? The parents, exhausted but full of love, went to a baby store only to realize they were looking in the wrong section. They had to buy outfits for a 6-month-old just to get Gianna home. It was a hilarious moment, but it was also a stressful preview of the struggles to come. Gianna wasn't just big, she was growing at an alarming rate, and her condition left doctors baffled. They needed to find a diagnosis, and fast. As Gianna's family searched for answers, they had to navigate a world that was constantly judging them. Strangers would stare in the grocery store, making rude comments about her size. Other parents would whisper, wondering if Gianna's parents were feeding her too much. What they didn't understand was that Gianna's size was a battle her parents were fighting in silence, a constant source of worry and fear. What was this mysterious condition? And could a diagnosis finally give her family the peace of mind they so desperately needed?
2. Kason Priego, the hidden danger. For Kason Priego's parents, the hospital room was filled with both relief and shock. They had just welcomed a seemingly healthy baby boy, but at an incredible 15 pounds, Kason's birth was a harrowing ordeal. The medical team had been forced to perform an emergency procedure just to get him out, and the relief was quickly replaced by a growing unease. Despite his impressive size and powerful cries, the doctors seemed worried. They knew something wasn't right. Kason seemed healthy, but the doctors soon discovered a terrifying secret lurking inside his body. His enormous size wasn't just a quirky trait, it was a symptom of a hidden danger. Kason's heart, forced to work overtime, was struggling to support his massive body. He was at risk of a life-threatening heart condition directly linked to his enormous size. This wasn't a problem that could be solved with a simple checkup. Kason needed a team of specialists to work around the clock fighting to save him from a complication caused by his own weight. His parents watched helplessly as their miracle baby was hooked up to monitors and machines, praying that he would pull through. The next few days were a blur of tests, consultations, and sleepless nights. The doctor's greatest fear was that Kason's heart would fail, and they had to race against the clock to find a solution. We'll reveal how a team of specialists had to work around the clock to save him from his own weight. What they discovered was a life-saving treatment that allowed Kason to finally start his journey home. Before we go to number 3,
What's the biggest baby you've ever heard of? Let us know in the comments below.
3. Gunnar Muggle, the celebrity baby. On the day Gunnar Muggle was born, the delivery room buzzed with excitement. At 15 pounds 5 ounces, he wasn't just big, he was a local celebrity. Nurses and doctors, amazed by his size, gathered to take photos, and his parents, overwhelmed, simply couldn't believe their eyes. Gunnar's birth was a viral sensation, a happy story about a giant baby boy. But as Gunnar grew, his size wasn't just a fun fact, it was a constant source of questions. His parents were inundated with well-meaning but prying comments from strangers. "What do you feed him?" they'd ask. Or, "Is he really that big?" The truth was, Gunnar's body continued to mystify even his doctors. They kept asking, why was he so big? His family had no answer. Every test came back normal, every measurement was off the charts. His parents felt a mix of pride and worry, wondering what was really going on inside their healthy-looking giant. The mystery hung over them for years. His parents eventually discovered a surprising family secret in his genes. The answer wasn't a fluke, it was a hidden legacy that went back generations, revealing a side of their family history they never knew existed. The discovery gave them not only an explanation for Gunnar's extraordinary size, but also a new understanding of their family's health. The secret was in his DNA, and it completely changed how they saw their son's miraculous birth.
4. Atlas McHugh, the tiny hat. At birth, Atlas McHugh was so big he was breaking hospital records, but his size was no accident. It was a symptom of a rare and life-threatening condition. Doctors had never seen a baby like him. His birth was a terrifying mix of relief and fear. While his parents celebrated his arrival, they were also told he might not survive. Atlas's body was a ticking clock, and every moment was a gamble. His parents watched him day and night, helpless as he fought for his life. In a world full of beeping machines and worried doctors, it felt like there was nothing they could do. But what kept him going wasn't a medical miracle. It was a simple gesture of love that gave him the strength to fight. On a cold night, a nurse brought a tiny hand-knitted hat to keep him warm. It was a small, seemingly insignificant gift, but for his parents, it meant the world. That little hat became a symbol of hope. It was a reminder that even in the darkest moments, a small act of kindness can make all the difference. As Atlas wore that hat, he seemed to grow stronger, his body responding to a love that was bigger than his medical condition. We'll tell you the emotional story of how a small act of kindness gave Atlas a fighting chance. It was a tiny hat with a huge story, and it proved that sometimes the simplest things can save a life. Before we go to number 5, would you have been scared or excited to have a baby this big?
5. Carson Frost, the insatiable hunger. When doctors delivered Carson Frost, they were stunned. His mother, a petite woman, had just given birth to a baby who weighed nearly 16 pounds. Carson was so large he couldn't even fit into the hospital's incubator. The medical staff had to improvise, wrapping him in blankets to keep him warm as they stared at their new record holder in disbelief. Carson's parents were proud of their little giant, but as he grew, they noticed something strange. His appetite was insatiable. He was always hungry, no matter how much they fed him. They wrote it off as a symptom of his size, but his unending hunger wasn't just a sign of a big appetite. It was a symptom of a metabolic condition that, if left untreated, could have been fatal. Carson's parents were concerned, so they took him to a specialist. The doctor performed a series of tests and discovered the horrifying truth. Carson's body was producing a hormone that caused him to constantly feel hungry, a symptom of a rare genetic disorder. We'll show you the dramatic moment his parents found out what was wrong and how a simple change in his diet saved his life.
6. Gavin, The baffling miracle. At a stunning 17 pounds, Gavin was the biggest baby on our list. His size was so extreme it baffled the entire medical community. He was a true miracle, but his parents were worried. What nobody knew was that his size was caused by a genetic disorder his mother never knew she had. This shocking diagnosis would change their lives forever. Gavin's parents were proud of their little giant, but as he grew, they noticed something strange. His appetite was insatiable. He was always hungry no matter how much they fed him. They wrote it off as a symptom of his size, but his unending hunger wasn't just a sign of a big appetite. It was a symptom of a metabolic condition that, if left untreated, could have been fatal. Gavin's parents were concerned, so they took him to a specialist. The doctor performed a series of tests and discovered the horrifying truth. Gavin's body was producing a hormone that caused him to constantly feel hungry, a symptom of a rare genetic disorder. We'll show you the dramatic moment his parents found out what was wrong and how a simple change in his diet saved his life.
These are more than just stories of big babies. They're stories of human resilience, medical innovation, and the power of love. The challenges these families faced were immense, but their courage has inspired thousands. What's the biggest baby you've heard of? Let us know in the comments below. Which story surprised you the most? Share your thoughts. Would you have been scared or excited to have a baby this big? And their stories raise a fascinating question. Are these record-breaking births becoming more common? Don't go anywhere. Our next video will explore the science behind these giant babies and reveal if we're living in an age of extraordinary newborns. Click here to watch more inspiring video on Viral TV 10. Like to support awareness. Subscribe for more true stories the world needs to hear.